So let me introduce the video. This is a video about inspiration, first off, and specifically using the tarot deck, the Tarot. This is the Smith-Waite Tarot deck, and it was renamed recently Smith-Waite in honor of Pamela Colman Smith, also known as Pixie in the esoteric world. And the purpose of this video is to, this is about inspiration. And inspiration as an artist, or I suppose for anyone, but particularly for me, there are several ways. All right, that I can start my process and start working on my work. And I found that the tarot is quite useful because when I find myself in a position of being rather stuck or uninspired, okay, so by doing the tarot, it's really a case of self-examination. I do this book, which I mentioned in the video, called 78 Degrees of Wisdom in the video I do mention this book called 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack. And I highly recommend it. I've read several books on the tarot and have been using this for several years to make up a story. I know what the cards are about. I can refer to the book, but it's about making up a story, and this story sort of inspires me to help me understand myself and my current psychological, emotional, perhaps spiritual position at any given time. And a lot of my works come from this process. So sometimes the work may start with a scribble, something that I find. Sometimes I just jump right in and start drawing and take it from there. So whether in art or in life, sometimes we need to be able to break out of our own preconceived notions, our own ideas that have been concretized, and we need to have something to inspire us to think a little differently. And you'll see that in this video as we go through the cards and just about how I read them and how I understand them. And finally, before we start, there will probably be another video and perhaps a third video that in subsequent time, like the next day, looking at this video to edit it, all of a sudden I got a different idea, a different interpretation than what I did in the first read, which you'll see right now. All right. I think we're good to go. Okay, so we're beginning the tarot read. Oh, there we go. For today. So I'm shuffling the cards. Nothing special. I don't see any reason to make a big deal about it. I don't know what these cards are. Okay, so in the original version, which I more or less subscribe to, you pull the top card, and that's the Querent. This is me, okay? Which is the Ten of Pentacles. Prosperity. And it's an interesting card, because if you actually have this deck, you will see that there's a man and a woman in the background, but there's an older white-haired man in the foreground, and the dogs are looking at him. And in the corner over here is the child hanging on to the mother's dress. And I've always thought it was interesting that these two figures, the male and female figures, the father and mother, I suppose, very similar in the pose to, I think it's the Two of Cups. But anyway, so there you go. Prosperity. Wealth. Old age. Those who begin their lives and their child, the young couple, compared with the old white-haired man who seems to be in contemplation. Yeah. All right, let's pull some cards here. Okay, ready? 1. The Four of Wands. Some happy people here. Okay? Let's see if we can make this a little bigger. Okay, so here we have the first card, which is the Four of Wands, which is a solid card. It's the number 4. You have two figures here holding whatever. This is basically a Sukkot in the Jewish Hebrew tradition, as far as I know. And there's it's a joyous image. Okay, it's a joyous image. The wands are about effort, okay, and work and that kind of thing, physical effort. So this is a happy card, physical effort. Good, because I've been working a lot. Okay, now what crosses it? Okay, the Three of Wands. That's curious. All right. The Three of Wands is obviously incomplete. This is a man standing here looking into the future, basically. And appears he's looking at the river with boats. Maybe that's sort of an investment that he's had, trading with the new world or whatever like this. Colors, red and green, and black and yellow, very, bright, okay? Real opposites, and so he's waiting. Okay, he's waiting and looking. Now this is interesting because this crosses the 4, which is the completion number. So let's continue. Let's see what goes on underneath. Oh, more wands. Okay, the 8 of Wands. Which is an interesting card because there's like 8 wands like traveling through the air, like spears. But you notice that all of these wands have blossoms on them, which is I think a reference to the staff of Moses. But the background looks happy. It's green, clear water, whereas the 3 is not clear blue water. It is brown water, and with a brownish, yellowish background. This is a very happy background. Blue skies and green hills and so forth. That's underneath, as they say. Maybe that means the unconscious. Next card is upside down. Page of Swords. The Page of Swords. A young man with a sword,
the symbol of intelligence and, thinking and imagination and all this kind of stuff, the realm of the mind, okay, is wielding the sword broadly, just gracefully. But he's young, okay? It's one sword, and it's upside down. So behind is perhaps my past of being that page of swords, of being the young man who thought he knew everything, was capable of anything, but in actuality really didn't know a lot. Okay, didn't really get the picture. Sort of naive and optimistic, bold, but he's got a lot to learn. Okay, I get that. Now, this is interesting. This is the Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles. Above. Upright, this is an image of the gardener who is watching his garden grow, his wealth, his prosperity. Upside down, this is someone who's worried about his garden growing and not quite so confident or relaxed. Yeah. Okay. I get that. Yeah, I've been going through that. Interesting. Okay, here's before. Ooh, the Ace of Swords. Let's get a good look at this. The Ace of Swords. The hand of God, crowned with, I don't know, sacred vegetation, I guess. I'm not sure what it is. I'm sure Pamela did. Glowing hand holding the sword, which is interesting because the Page of Swords has one sword, but this is the Ace of Swords. This is the source. This is the hand of God handing you that sword, that Excalibur, the sword of the king. That's what's before. Oh, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Okay. All right. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's get more light on the subject there. Oh, okay. So, again, this is like unconscious, subconscious, what I like to call counsel or advice. This is just a suggestion, and this is the outcome. But the outcome has a lot to do with what happens in this third card. Card number 1. Ooh. 8 of Cups. Upside down. That's not so bad. Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Number 3. King of Pentacles. Upside down. Well, let's wait on the outcome. Let's talk about this. Okay, so underneath, this card would normally be like, I don't know. I mean, I like to think about it, about lost in the dark, about being up at 2 a.m., wandering around. There's the moon. Doesn't look so happy. She's just observing all of this. Man with a cane, stick, walking by the beach, I guess. And the 8 cups left behind. It's 8 cups. It's love and emotional well-being and all of this. And somehow it's just not quite enough for him. So he's wandering off into the darkness, into the night. And I've been there. Okay, I've done this. Okay, I know what this is like. Waking up in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock and just going outside, and it's nice, it's quiet, it's peaceful. I watch the moon, I watch the stars. The world is asleep. And I don't have to interact with it. I don't even have to interact with my own sadness. It's like, this is just beautiful in itself. And that's what I see in this card. I always have. Like, yeah, I get it. He's clearly looking up, okay? And I don't know. This is what he's looking into. He's looking into the universe. That's underneath. Yeah, I get it. I feel like that. This is the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah. Again, a gift of God. The garden. You can see down here, but the blooming flowers, just beautiful arch like Monet or whatever. And then material prosperity. Okay, material prosperity handed to me by the hand of God. This same hand coming out of the cloud. Yeah, sure. Cool. Okay, I'm cool with that. Win the lottery, sell some paintings, whatever it is. Somebody's come along and say, "Oh, I love your painting," and I'm just, how much do you want for it or whatever? It's just like drops in my lap. It's happened. But here is, and as I say, this is like in the what I would call the consultative advice position. The King of Pentacles, a very elaborate image. Hope you can see that. Very elaborate image. A king with a pentacle. Obviously, that would be a big pentacle. I guess in a way, I could say, if I were to win the lottery, let's say I were to win $10 million or $50 million or something, it would be like I got one big one, right? I got the one big one, which has put me in this wonderful position. It's actually a positive card, although there were like vines growing all over the place, including the king, which probably means he's not moving around a lot, which is kind of an interesting thing. And then we've got this weird sort of bull goat figure. I don't know. There's a lot of details in like the position of his foot and so forth. Oddly, and there's the bull figure, the bull head up there. He looks pretty satisfied. But it's not the same as this card. Let's not forget this card. The 10 of Pentacles. Youth, dogs, puppies, life. And then the old man who sits contemplating under the bridge. Maybe that's like the question, Here I am. I'm 72. Yeah, I'm doing great, but what was the cost? What have I won and what have I lost? Well, we'll put that right there. But anyway, the King of Pentacles here, as you may notice, is upside down. Good. That's a good thing, okay? This would... To me, this would be a bit of a warning, kind of like there's more to this than just making money, okay? Let's say I had $10 million. What would I do with it? Just spend it on myself buying, expensive toys, just sit around all day, letting the vines grow on me, just obsessed with it, just gazing at this. Yeah, that's really not me. Got to be honest about it. It's not me. Final card, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, ouch. The Devil. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, the devil. Much has been written about this card, and I would again recommend to you, if you want more details, 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack. The Devil card. Let's see what she has to say about the devil. Let's go to the I don't know where it is. Let's go to 24. Okay, Major Arcana. These are the Major Arcana, like the Devil and Ace of Swords. No, not the Ace of Swords. Like the Devil, the Magician, the Hermit, and whatnot. Okay. The Devil. Why does this grim figure of oppression appear so late in the tarot? After achieving the balance of temperance, why fall so abruptly? The Devil bears the number 15, which reduces the 6, the Lovers. And in fact, we can say that Waite worked backwards from the Devil when he designed his radical version of the Lovers. The Devil introduces the last line. This hints that it provides some vital energy for the work of that line. Now that line deals with archetypal forces beyond the self. Does the road to enlightenment take us through the dark world of the devil? Remember that Dante goes through hell before he can reach purgatory and paradise. And that William Blake described the devil as the true hero of Milton's moralist poem Paradise Lost. In order to understand the esoteric value of the devil, we must first consider its usual meanings as a force of illusion and oppression. The main illusion is materialism, a term which you may think of as money, but which more properly means the view that nothing exists beyond the world of the senses. Denying any spiritual component to life, the materialist pursues only personal desires, monetary, sexual, and political. Since such narrowness often leads to unhappiness, the devil has come to symbolize misery. When we look at the two figures, though, however, we do not observe any discomfort in their faces. Notice that the chains do not really hold them. The devil's power rests in the illusion that nothing else exists. In a great many situations, from political oppression to the personal misery of a bad family life, people become consciously unhappy when they realize that life holds other alternatives. Okay, I'm going to hold it right there.
Okay, so I decided to cut the video into two parts. They're related, but they could be viewed separately. So if you're only interested in the tarot part, we have that. In the second part, I'm going to talk a little bit more about artists like Morandi and Agnes Martin, and how this reading and this practice applies to me and applies to them in terms of inspiration and the work that they've done and the work that I've done. So, thank you very much for watching.